Well, it's quite difficult to actually say what my feelings were because, as I mentioned before, the first time I came to St. Paul's was 40 years ago. But I suppose it was one of expectation and coming to a new school and looking forward to something different and also looking forward to teaching the students. And of course, one had heard of the reputation of the school. So it was just a sort of an exciting time to be coming in the 1980s, I think, the start of the 1980s. I think.
So you just mentioned that you have taught in different schools in Hong Kong. So why would you come to Hong Kong and teach, being a teacher and teach the students?
Well, it's really a very long story, but I have to make it short. The thing is, after graduating from university, I was going to go into the church. So I'd been accepted for training at Ridley Hall in Cambridge. But I decided after 3 years at university and being in an ivory tower, then it would be better to take a break of about a couple of years. Because I'd actually met Chinese friends in the UK in my hometown, and we'd worked on the Christmas Post at the station, because normally this is what students do during Christmas vacations to get extra money. So we worked on the Post, and I met these Chinese friends, and then they took me back to their home, and they made me dim sum and all that sort of thing. We went away on holiday, and so when I went back to university, that was my second year, I decided to take some courses at the university in Chinese civilization in my free time. And then later in my third year, I decided I would like to come for 2 years to Hong Kong to teach. But I didn't know that the 2 years would turn out to be 46. So I wrote back to my bishop and said I'm not coming back to the UK, you know, for the church training. So I just stayed on.
So this one.
I came here in 1989. I think my first day is for the job interview. I remember I stopped in front of the hall because there's a debate going on. I stopped there and listened for a while, and I was very impressed by the students' debaters' speech. At that time, I thought it was a good school, nurturing students in thinking skills and language skills.
I think for me, I've mixed feelings because I've never taught boys before. I've taught in a co-educational college, in fact. So I've about like mixed feelings. I felt excited, but at the same time, I also felt a bit worried and nervous.
Students in the past read more books, no matter it's Chinese or English. Now, with more information they got from the internet, the world is more complicated than before. There are a lot of things for them to seek, to find out. So I don't think they read a lot, but reading is a very important way to enhance your English. The world, in the past, students' world is more simple. Now students have more to take care of. They receive a lot of information, and the world is more complicated, and they may not be so willing to tell you what they have in mind.
Oh.
Yes, that is. Well, when I first came out to teach, I taught a co-educational school, and long time ago, students tend to depend on teachers more, and they were more willing to open, and they'll talk to you a lot about their life, their problems. Well, even they'll talk about dating and whatever they encounter. But now students
I think they're busy. I think they're very busy.
very busy. Go
No
for
time.
lessons,
No time.
activities, tutorials. They are different.
And I think tutorial classes or tutorials were not so popular in the past, right? As now, I think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Not many of my students will attend tutorials classes in the past, so they have more time, I think.
But now they have to go for
For
one
many
lesson
subjects.
and
many
then
subjects.
another lesson.
Yeah.
Learning a musical instrument, playing sport.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, a lot.
That's-
Very busy, I think, now.
That's their parents' pressure because they have to be doing something all the time. Whereas I mean student, I mean like myself, I mean you're left to do your own devices. You go to your piano lessons and all that sort of thing, but there's plenty of time.
Yeah, that's true.
But they think they're probably their sons are probably lazy if they're not doing something. You see,
Maybe. I need to mention something different from today, because I still remember in those days, because students do not have so many subjects, right, in the senior form, so they have more time. So even during normal days, we can arrange, I think you still remember, we can arrange some outside classroom activities. Let's say we took them to Ocean Park, to Disneyland. I remember with Mrs. Lam, we took the Form 1 out for a kind of activity in Disneyland. Okay, we designed some worksheets for them, and there's a program so they can learn English, okay, in that theme park. Another time, I remember I took the students out for film, usually watching English film, and then come back for discussion and for kind of essay writing. Also, I remember have Mrs. Lam done it and Mr. Wilson. We took them out to a pizza shop so that they learn how to make pizzas, and they can get the pizza. Okay, they can take it away. Okay, with their own pizza. So they find so fun and interesting. Have you remember you took the student to Castle Pin Hospital? Is it?
Yes, I did. Yes, I became rather notorious about that. I think it started in the mid-1980s. I mean, the whole point and purpose of going to the hospital was, first of all, to try and change the attitude of Hong Kong people towards the elderly who suffer from dementia and Alzheimer's, because they always used to make fun of older people. Oh, it's an old person's disease. In the 1980s, students in St. Paul's were thinking about other professions to go into. It's not just engineers, lawyers, and doctors. So they started thinking about sociology, reading sociology at the University of Psychology and things like that. So it would also be an opportunity and an eye-opener for them to go, and maybe they could spend part of their time, you know, at a place like Castle Peak Hospital. And it was also very good as well. You saw the stuff that they made. They made ironwork and copperwork, and it was very intricate and very difficult to do. And there's also a farm at the back of the hospital, so they're able to go out into the farm and plant things and, you know, learn things. So it was very good. So we went around, but we went downstairs and we went to a place where the most extreme patients were, and the rooms had to be padded, because it was something like a Silence of the Lambs sort of thing. You know, sort of, they would bang their heads against the wall and things like that. So it all had to be padded. And one of the most sort of noticeable things was the smell of urine. We were downstairs in the bottom, and you could smell it. And it was no matter how hard the staff tried to clear that smell, they couldn't get rid of it at all for some reason. So you're seeing all of this sort of thing going on, and you know, and after you've been around the place, there are people there, the doctors there, who come and explain to the students. They say, well, there's a master's course in this or something. After you graduate from university, you can take this course, and various sort of things. There was a little question and answer session at the end, sort of thing. So it was always very instructive. But of course, I had a reputation of taking students to Castle Peak Hospital. It sort of grew up over the years.
So our Singapore's college focus about global interaction and global classroom. So what were your experience in taking the students to foreign places?
It was sort of like a camp, and I think it was a field for scouts and things like that. But it was also a sort of a training sort of session. Food wasn't terribly good. That's thank goodness I brought the Marks and Spencer food. And there was this huge field, and of course they put up the tent for me, and Mr. was there. But unfortunately, no one left me a ground sheet, so I was freezing cold at night. I only had a sleeping bag, which I had to fold over, and then it poured like cats and dogs during the night. And of course I wanted to go to the loo, and the loo was right at the other side of the field, so I had to go into the bushes instead. And I got up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and there was frost on the ground, and this was in July or August or something in the UK. It was horrible, horribly cold. It was really awful. And I sort of, I was just glad to get back, and immediately I got back. I said, I have to have a shower and change into my best clothes. I think because I had to,
Luckily, you survived.
I
You
couldn't
survived.
wash because there were no decent showers or anything there. Good Lord, it's an experience never to be forgotten.
Yeah, so I'm so relieved when okay, and I'm so happy when I saw you and Mr. Wu came back alive.
Sound and safe.
Oh, it was-
Sound and safe.
This is one of the very unforgettable memories I still remember.
yes, I only went there to that one. I didn't go to any more.
I think one good thing about our boys, I don't think they were, for some rigid kids may look down on others, but I don't find it here. There's quite if you don't know their background, you just think that they come from the same kind of family, not that rich or middle class. I think they're quite like I think they cherish brotherhood. They'll offer help to their friends. They were not just always talking about famous brands or their luxurious lifestyle. I don't they were not. I think this is something good here, no matter what kind of background they're from. Yes.
聖保樂小園
170週年校慶
May St. Paul students and staff surmount all the future challenges that this decade will provide them with.
Happy anniversary!